Hey guys, today I'll be demonstrating this RAG application that I've built. So what is a RAG application? So RAG stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. Essentially what it allows you to do is it allows you to take an LLM and have it analyze local context or local data and answer a question only based on that local context and local data. Okay. So over here, I have this little web portal where I can ask a question. So I can ask the question and I can either use internet data. So this is the data that the LLM has been trained with, or I can use the context that I have provided. So almost like a knowledge base. I would enter those things and hit submit question, and then essentially it should give me an answer. Okay. So what I have here is I have a couple of Python scripts, and I also have this database. So in this database, I have various books. So Aladdin, Alibaba, Alice in Wonderland, Cinderella, Howard Carter, Jack and the Beanstalk, and then a few others. Okay, so these are stories that I have added in as text files. Okay, and then what I've done is I've actually gone and created a database. So what this does is it actually takes the text in these stories, breaks it into chunks, and converts those chunks in something called embeddings. And then it takes those embeddings and stores it in a vector database. So the way a vector database works is it basically takes the context and then stores it in data and uses a vector to reference that particular data. And that vector is generated based on how close each of those chunks are to the other respective chunks. Okay. So what I've done is I've already gone and created this database. So you can actually see the ChromaDB over here created. And then I also have this other script, actually two scripts, query data and then query internet data. So with query data, what it does is basically I take my question that I enter into the portal, okay, and I tell it to answer the question only based on the context that is provided, which is the knowledge that is added to the actual database. Okay, so that query is basically taken, it is converted into an embedding, okay, and then that embedding is compared with all the chunks that are there in the database. And then the application basically takes the top three, so that's why k is equal to 3 here. It takes the top three chunks and then takes that data and sends it to my local LLM. So I'm using LLAMA 3.2 here, running on LLAMA. It sends it to that local LLM and basically generates a response, okay, and it returns that response. Okay. So I have LLAMA running here in the background. We'll double check if it's running. So I have it here. I believe LLAMA is running. So LLAMA is running LLAMA 3.1. So this LLAMA 3.1 model is actually trained on 8 billion parameters. There is another one that is, I think, like 80 billion or something like that. Given that I'm running this on my PC, it'll be overkill and it'll probably, crash my PC or won't run. My PC has this NVIDIA graphics card, right? So we'll be actually looking at the GPU utilization when the actual app is being run, okay? So let me go to my portal here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the relevant context to answer the question. So notice here, I actually have these books, but I don't have a book on Rapunzel. So I'm going to ask it a question about Rapunzel, okay? So I'm going to say, who is Rapunzel? Question mark. And then I'm using local data and I'm going to submit the question. And watch the graphics card being utilized. There you go. So my graphics card is being utilized to provide that answer, and give it a few seconds and there you go. There's a response. There is no information in the given context of a person named Rapunzel. The context only mentions Cinderella and a princess who remains unnamed at a royal ball, with Cinderella's sisters being present as well. Rapunzel is not mentioned, so there is no story Rapunzel. So it's basically giving me this answer. The closest princess is Cinderella, so that's why it's talking about Cinderella. So pretty smart. Now let's use internet data. So now it's basically going to use the LLM's training to answer this question. Okay, so submit the question, and then let's take a look at the GPU utilization. So there you go. My GPU is being used, and it's going to generate an answer very shortly. And there you go. So now it gives me a response and it gives me a summary of the Rapunzel story. Okay. So there you have it. So this is a RAG application that uses relevant context to answer questions. So this is actually a very powerful application because it can be used in contact centers, for example, for agents to look up knowledge bases, to provide context so they can actually answer their customers' queries correctly, versus using just trained data, like trained LLM data, which could potentially generate hallucinations, which could be wrong. So there you go, and thank you for watching.